A growing country creates an unrelenting demand for new roads, modern hospitals, and expanded school systems. Traditionally, funding these multi-billion peso projects has meant relying on one specific source, the tax contributions of everyday citizens. But behind the official budget is a massive reservoir of capital that the government generated without increasing the tax burden on a single household. The state operates its own internal wealth engine, a network of enterprises that produce their own revenue independently of the public's wallet. This chart shows the recent collection of non-tax revenue by the National Treasury, which reached a record 147.15 billion pesos this year. These funds come from government-owned or controlled corporations, or GOCCs. These are state-run agencies that operate as functional businesses, generating their own profits. Under the dividend law, these corporations must remit 50% of their annual net earnings to the national government. Recently, however, the Department of Finance called for these agencies to raise that rate to 75%. That 147 billion pesos represents the equivalent of 40,000 new classrooms, 9,300 kilometers of roads, or 165,000 socialized homes. By aggressively raising dividend expectations, the government transformed these agencies into a primary funding source for the national infrastructure budget. At the top of the system is the Billionaires Club, the 15 state corporations that remitted over 1 billion pesos each. This year, the Basis Conversion and Development Authority, or BCDA, contributed 2.6 billion pesos. Their model involves converting dormant military lands into premium commercial hubs and economic centers. This strategy is now driving massive infrastructure and aviation projects outside the capital, such as the expansion of Clark International Airport. Beyond standard dividends, the BCDA generated an additional 3.09 billion pesos this year, specifically to support the modernization of the armed forces. When state-owned land is managed with the vision of a private developer, it produces billion-peso returns for the public treasury. Another major contributor is the Philippine Economic Zone Authority, or PEZA. They have achieved a remarkable 3-year streak of billion-peso remittances, delivering 1.44 billion pesos for the 2025 fiscal year. Their operations are highly efficient. A staff of just 600 employees manages more than 400 separate economic zones across the country. This graph illustrates their recent momentum. In the first 5 months of 2026, PEZA approved nearly 125 billion pesos in new projects, an 88% surge over the same period last year. These commitments mean new physical factories, advanced manufacturing lines, and direct foreign technology transfers. By maintaining a streamlined regulatory environment, PEZA has turned the attraction of foreign capital into a major profit center for the national government. To see the actual impact of this high-level fiscal discipline, we have to look at the direct effects on the lives of everyday Filipinos. The foreign companies operating within PEZA zones provide direct employment for 1.72 million Filipinos, often in high-tech manufacturing and services. The scale of this activity is evident in the country's trade figures. These economic zones account for 54% of the Philippines' total merchandise exports. These elite state corporations provide a structural foundation that supports the country's broader trade stability and employment levels. While state agencies are often characterized as bureaucratic overhead, these institutions demonstrate a capacity to function as high-yield wealth generators. Every billion pesos generated through internal efficiency is a billion pesos that protects the public from new tax burdens. This success provides a benchmark for the entire government, showing the impact when state corporations are held to the standard of the Billionaires Club. This level of rigorous public stewardship provides the fiscal durability required for long-term national development.